Hello again, friends, and welcome to Chapter 2 of the Christmas Quadrilogy. This is part 2 of our 4-part series on the wines and spirits that I would be happy to give you for Christmas. So if you remember, just one short week ago, I shared with you some of the great white wines that I would share with you for Christmas. Well, as we move along in our little journey here toward Christmas, which is only 16 days away as we speak, tonight's segment, I'm prepared to share with you some of the rosés that I think would make a fantastic gift for you and your friends for the holiday and for any time of the year. So, to begin, just as I started last week, I happened to find a nice rosé sparkling, which, as you can guess by now, by the bottles here on the table, tonight I'm going to gift you some rosés. So with that, gotta love that sound. So let's begin. Welcome. And cheers. That's some really good stuff. So, assembled before you, I have 4 excellent rosés, including a sparkling, which I'm going to start with. That would be a wonderful complement to your wine selections any time of the year, but they're going to be even more special for this Christmas. So let me begin with the one that I just opened. This one, unfortunately, for the array of wines that I'm going to show you here tonight, is the only one, at least for my Pennsylvania friends, that you're going to be able to find here very quickly in Pennsylvania. Because I have to be brutally honest with you, I don't really shop for a lot of rosés here in PA. I do a lot of internet shopping for rosés. I do a lot of buying New York State rosés, which are really hard to find here. I buy a lot of rosés at Total Wine in Delaware. And I do pick up some occasionally here in PA at the PA Wine and Spirit shops. And quite frankly, the rosé market, because it's expanding so much, even the supermarkets, believe it or not, are starting to stock some good rosés. You know how much I like rosé, so I'll tell you what, I don't really care where I buy it. If I find a good rosé, I'm going to keep buying it. So tonight, of the 4 that I'm going to share with you, unfortunately, only one of these is available directly on the shelves of the PA Wine and Spirits. But don't despair, I can help you find them if you want them. So the first one is a Brut Rosé from California. The house might be a little hard to see with the reflection of the light here. I'll turn this bottle a little bit. The House of Chandon. Chandon is a very famous French champagne house, and they have obviously come here to our climates in California. This is a California Rosé, and let me read from the back of the bottle, as I always do. A refreshing fruit expression of Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. Chandon Brut Rosé is bright and delicate with aromas of strawberry and cherry. I don't know how you can't like that, because this wine, and this, look at that nice color. A little Christmassy. Even good out of a big glass like this. That is a really good, the description is perfect. So I'll put a little spot after I'm done here to show you how you can go get this for yourself. And I can tell you that Brut Rosés are an excellent accompaniment to all the wide range of foods that rosé is a great accompaniment for. So I would highly suggest this would be a good one for the coming New Year holiday. It's a good one. I mean, I'm not even going to go into the food pairings. I mean, I just had some shrimp for dinner. This would have paired fantastically with shrimp, pair fantastically with a lot of the tapas kind of food you have during the holidays. And it would pair well just with a glass and a group of your good friends. So, a Brut Rosé from Chandon. I'm going to pour a little bit more here to keep my whistle wet as we walk through the rest of the rosés that I want to share with you tonight. So the rosés that I assembled I'm going to tell you this, and I might be repeating myself. They're not available to you unless you work with me, and I can show you how to get them. That's not necessarily true. If you happen to have some friends in New York State, one of these is available. One of these is French, and you can get it in the country. And I'll have a little story to tell you about that one. And one of them is Italian. So we're going to go to Europe and to New York State to share the rosés that I'd like to share with you tonight. And again, tonight's not meant to be an expose on rosé. If you've been watching my spots, you know my love affair with rosé wine. So it would be an honor for me to be able to share rosé wines with you as a gift. So I have 3 more gifts to share with you tonight. And let's start with the first one closest to home. This first one, and I may have shared this with you in another spot. This one is called Ancre. This is a rosé from a winery in Union Springs, New York, on Cayuga Lake, called Heart and Hands. Boutique winery. They make fantastic wines, known for their Rieslings. They've just started to do some Chardonnay. They've started the bottle of bubbly Riesling, which is absolutely fantastic. They've even ventured into making a fantastic dessert wine. I can plug them later, and you can go check Heart and Hands wine in New York State, Union Springs. But for tonight, if I had the chance to share with you, one that you would be very happy with would be this wine called Ancre. And Ancre, unlike these others, is a single varietal rosé. This is a Pinot Noir rosé. And let me read to you from the back of the bottle, just to give the winemaker some credit here, as to how they put this wine together. Ancre, from Irish, meaning the heart, is a dry rosé crafted from 100% Pinot Noir grapes grown in the Finger Lakes region. The grapes were hand-picked, optically sorted, and allowed to rest for 6 hours to enable the color and flavors from the skins to soak into the juice. Next, the practice of saunier, which is a method of making rosé, and if you want to rewind, I talked about the saunier method, which is bleeding off the juice. Remember, rosé wines, all wine juice is clear until the skins color it. So the juice was then fermented, and until the wine then fermented and came in at about, this bottle is, according to the bottle, 12% ABV, which classifies it as a dry rosé. Fantastic wine, hands down. And if you got this as a gift, you should be honored, because it is a great, great wine. So I'll put a little bit of a plug in for Heart and Hands after I've done the segment with you here tonight. So that's wine number 1. So let's move him aside. Santa can guard him for now. Let's go to the next one that I found. The next one is called Il Cassato 2020 Rosé. It is a Pinot Grigio Rosé. And I haven't talked a lot about Pinot Grigio as a varietal, but Pinot, there's 3 Pinots. Pinot Blanc, well, a couple, but Pinot Blanc, Pinot Grigio or Pinot Gris, and Pinot Noir. So for those of you understanding the word Grigio, it's gray. The Pinot Grigio or Pinot Gris grape is kind of dark. And remember, when you crush it to make white Pinot Grigio, it's only the juice. There's no skin contact. Well, to get a rosé of Pinot Grigio, you just let it sit on the skins for a while. And that's what happened with this one. And I found this wine on Wine Access in my travels, in my cell phone travels, because Wine Access just keeps punching out emails to me to make me buy. And believe me, do I buy. So this Pinot Grigio I served to a group of friends, I think for the first time this summer. I never had people go so wild over a bottle of Pinot Grigio, and then the fact that it was Pinot Grigio Rosé, we wound up buying 3 cases of this stuff and split it amongst ourselves. It is, and has gotten wonderful reviews on the internet from wine judges, and most importantly, it's gotten great reviews from the people most important to me, my wine drinking friends. So this would be a fantastic gift for you. It's 100% Pinot Grigio. It's pink Pinot Grigio because they left it on the skins and processed it that way. So it's got a 97-point review. Doesn't matter from whom. 97 points out of 100 is pretty damn good. And I can only tell you that I hope when this wine runs out, and it will run out in this household, that I'll be able to find it again, because it is the only Pinot Grigio Rosé that I ever had. So to you, if I could, I would gift this to you as a perfect example of a very nice pink Pinot Grigio. And as far as food pairings, rosé, I'm telling you, there's pretty much not anything that I can mention that would not probably go with a rosé. Maybe deep dark chocolate, but who would care then anyway? So that's our second one. Il Cassato Pinot Grigio from the Venetian region in the north of Italy. Then we want to block out Santa's face, so we're going to move that over there to the side a little bit. And for the last wine for tonight, this one comes with a special story. This one, it's a little hard to see the label. It's called Bouche aux Argali. It is a Provençal rosé. It is a 60-40 split in that order of Grenache and Cinsault, which are two rather large red grapes. But when pressed and the juice releases and made into rosés, they are sublime. They're absolutely fantastic. So this wine is one. There's a backstory to this one, and it's one of the reasons that I chose this one. This is a bottle that my wife and I, when we went to the Rhone Valley, we spent 21 days in 2019 from sometime in the spring. I can't remember the dates. We went to Lyon, France, and we spent 20 days in the Rhone Valley, in the city of Lyon and points south. We got all the way down to Nîmes, 20 minutes from the Mediterranean coast in the south of France. One day in Vieux-Lyon, the old town of Lyon, we set out to have lunch in the outdoor cafes, which is very popular in all of France. And it was the season for it. And when we ordered our meal, we asked for a bottle of rosé. We were walking. We didn't take in public transport. We didn't care. So they put this bottle of wine on the table. This bottle of wine, the first place we found it, was in Lyon, France in 2019. And we had a bottle of that, and we just thought, well, oh well, that's great, but we're never going to see that again. So fast forward to Hilton Head this summer. You're saying, well, what's the connection between Hilton Head and Lyon, France? Well, the connection was this bottle of wine. We're down at Hilton Head this September, kind of doing what I always do, stopping in the liquor stores and looking for new wines and new adventures. And lo and behold, my wife rushes up to me with this bottle in her hand. She goes, I think this is the one we found in Lyon. I said, I don't think so. So lo and behold, thank God to iPhones and pictures and the cloud, I looked up the picture. It was this bottle of wine. I was like, oh my God. So we bought a couple down there, re-celebrated, and to make a long story short, there's a case of this wine now in my cellar. So I would be happy to give you a bottle of this, not because of my own story, but because the wine's pretty freaking good. It is an excellent example of a Provençal rosé. And how can you beat that bottle? Look at that. Amazing. But these rosé bottles, I don't know what it is about them. That's what they do with them. They try to like glam them up a little bit, and there you have it. So if you want some of this wine, you're going to have to hang out with me or you're going to have to talk to me and find out how you can get it. It's not overly expensive. You could drive down to Hilton Head, South Carolina. There's a way for you to get it, because I have seen it nowhere else. I was fortunate enough to do a little search on the internet. I found it, and now I have a source. So I will hopefully never run out of the Bouche au Rosé from Provence. Fantastic wine, and as far as food pairings, it pairs just like all of the other rosés. This one is actually fantastic on a hot summer night, just sitting by the pool, or not being by the pool, a hot summer day, hot summer night, and you can just sip this one until you're tired of sipping. Fantastic wine. So there you have it. Those are the wines that I would be most happy to gift you with for Christmas with rosés. Now, don't despair, because I don't have wines outside of this rosé sparkling here for you that you can find in the PA wine and liquor stores or at Total Wine. I'm going to tell you this. As long as it's dry, I don't prefer sweet rosés, the white Zinfandel kind of thing, because they're good dry Zinfandel rosés. But if you go and look for any Provençal style rosé from France, hopefully it'll tell you if it has a little bit of Grenache, a little Mourvedre, a little Cinsault, buy it. It'll probably be as good as this. I don't really want to say these are the elite wines on the planet. The Pinot Grigio Rosé, that's going to be a little bit harder to find, but you can search. And if you're interested in a Pinot Noir Rosé, they're all over. You should not have any trouble finding another. I know other wineries in the Finger Lakes. You know my history with the Finger Lakes. The Finger Lakes has an abundance of good rosés made from Pinot Noir. I would also recommend one, and I didn't want to overload you tonight, if you could find a Cab Franc rosé to have as a gift to give to somebody for Christmas. Cab Franc makes a fantastic rosé. Those are my favorites. Pinot Noir, Cab Franc, the Grenache, Cinsault, Mourvedre blends, and actually Zinfandel, not white Zinfandel, just dry Zinfandel rosé. Fantastic rosés that would be good any time of the year, but even extra special for the holiday. So I hope that gives you a little bit of joy for the counting 16 days. It's 15 starting tomorrow. I'll see you next week, and we're going to do a series of great red wines that I would be happy to gift you for the coming holiday. So until then, I'm going to have another sip of my Chandon Rosé. And say thanks for joining me. Stay safe. Get your wine shopping done. And get your Christmas shopping done. And until then, cheers.